What is going on, everyone? Joe back again with Lineup Legends. I wanted to bring some additional content. I was originally going to do another best ball contest through Underdog. I'm having some issues logging in with them. So didn't want to do another DraftKings one. I figured I would try and do some redraft stuff just to see, what we might be able to come up with here. I'm just going to use Sleeper, and I am going to draft from the 12 spot, which I am actually going to be doing from my main league. So I figured we would look at it here. I know that this is just going to be drafted based on ADP with the bots drafting, but that's okay. So your drafts probably won't look like this, and they'll probably look a lot different, especially with certain people going a lot sooner or later. So I figure we'll just see what we can come up with as far as my lineup goes. With the news that Brian Robinson has been traded to the 49ers, I don't think that's going to make any differences in CMC's game unless San Fran is not telling us something when it comes to CMC. I mean, we've seen some of the tape, so he looks good, but I'm actually gonna, 12 works out perfect because based on the ADP here, CMC should fall to me at this point, and I'm gonna avoid him just to see what other kind of team we could draft based on avoiding CMC, and if getting Brian Robinson later on can make sense, if we get him based on these bots drafting. I don't know, but we'll just start it, see what the bots draft like and what my team will look like at the end. But I'm going to avoid CMC purposely, not to say that that's what I would do for real. I just want to see what the team would look like if he did fall to me this late, because I know typically he is falling probably in the 6 to 7 range typically. So yeah, so standard, Jamar Chase at 1, Saquon Barkley at 2. I'm actually surprised because Bijan has been going second in everything else that I've seen. I mentioned this in the best ball draft video that I did. I personally would take Bijan first if I do have the first pick. I think that with his catching ability plus the way that he is on the ground, I'd rather have an elite running back like that, and I personally would be avoiding Saquon unless I got him super late in the first round, personally. Not to say that him and Jamar can't repeat as the ones at their position. I just try my best to think outside the box when it comes to the following year. I try my best not to focus too heavily on the previous year. Like I said, not to say that they can't repeat, but Justin Jefferson at 3, that's, actually a little bit higher than I've seen him go. Typically, I see him going in the middle, like 5, 6, and 7. Then Bijan, then Jameer, CeeDee Lamb. I feel like this is late for CD. I personally would take him over. I would take him as the wide receiver 1. I think if Dak is healthy, CeeDee Lamb has a great chance to finish as the wide receiver 1 this year. Amon-Ra St. Brown, PPR monster. Obviously, I didn't mention the scoring. My main league is 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, and 3 flex. No defense, no kicker. And then we have 6 bench spots. I'm only going to be doing 4 bench spots just to make sure that it's not as lengthy and we're getting into some deeper roster spots. But Amon-Ra, great for PPR. This is a great spot to take Amon-Ra. Derrick Henry goes at 8. Like I mentioned, with Derrick Henry, he's in a great offense. He's going to score a ton of touchdowns. There's no doubting that. I always kind of end up staying away from Derrick Henry. I feel like I end up wanting to take other players ahead of him when it comes to me if he's there before me or for me to take. So then Malik Neighbors goes. Then Gene at 10. Gene that first preseason game, obviously he only had 3 carries, I think. So was nothing crazy. And then the second preseason game he played, he just completely balled out. Saw what he's really able to do. Puka goes at 11. Looks like Matt Stafford has finally at practice and has been playing. I know he's been dealing with back issues, so the situation in LA kind of scares me, and I'm not sure how I feel about taking Puka or Devontae Adams depending on where they're falling. I mean, at the end of the day, they're top stars, so this is not to say you should avoid them, but I mean, it's just a scary situation because if it's Garoppolo that ends up playing first at least, hopefully Stafford is healthy, and then the people who end up with Puka and Devontae Adams end up, you know, benefiting from them. So I think if Stafford is healthy and he does play like how he normally does, having either Puka or Devontae is great. Even if you can get Devontae as your WR1, if you kind of go RB heavy at first, I don't think that's bad at all, especially if Stafford does play. Like I said, I'm gonna avoid CMC here. I'll probably go wide receiver first. I mentioned when I have the later picks, I tend to stack up receivers if I can. So once again here, I'm really high on Brian Thomas this year. I'm going to go Brian Thomas as my first pick to round out the first round. And in the best ball draft I did take Devon Achane, which I know now he's dealing, with, I believe it's a calf issue. And I think he still might play week 1, but we're not too entirely certain. According to Mike McDaniels, he should be ready, but I'll avoid him just to get some different lineups in, so I'm not just drafting basically the same team. So if I had to go running back here, like I said, I mean, Brian Thomas and Christian McCaffrey, this would be fantastic. But if avoiding Christian McCaffrey here, just to see what the rest of the team could look like, if we avoid him, it can possibly get Brian Robinson later, because I think that situation will be, I'll try and break it down for what I think is going to end up happening. But here, I personally probably will end up just taking Josh Jacobs. The way he finished out the season last year was just, truly proved he was obviously their bell cow. I mean, he's going to be getting every single snap. Marshawn Lloyd is now hurt again, so Emmanuel Wilson's their backup. Josh Jacobs is just a monster. So, especially with the touchdowns he ended up with, especially in the second half of the season. Nico Collins goes after my Josh Jacobs pick. So this guy has Puka, Nico. CMC goes to team 10. So he falls to the 2-3. Like I said, if it was real, I would take Christian McCaffrey here. I would go Brian Thomas and Christian McCaffrey. I think that's fantastic. I personally think Christian McCaffrey, from what I'm seeing, is going in the 5 to 8 range, normally from like real drafts. I know he won't make it here in my real draft. So then AJ Brown. So this guy is Malik Neighbors, AJ Brown, Drake London. Drake London is just, I believe, is in an offense that's going to benefit him even more this year. With no Kirk Cousins, you saw how much Penix targeted Drake London. I think Penix is going to be throwing the ball a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if they are one of the top higher passing offensive teams this year. We know Dallas is one as well. I think they're going to do the same. I don't see Penix running a lot, obviously. But I do think they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So Drake London here is awesome. First QB to go, Josh Allen. So he's got Amon-Ra, Josh Allen. I mean, we know what Josh Allen is capable of, obviously the MVP. I think he'll be just fine as long as, God forbid, any injuries. If he continues to do what he's doing, he's got basically the same offense as he does his last year, minus Amari Cooper and Mac Hollins, which basically irrelevant to them. As if you have Josh Allen, he's going to get the points you need. Devon Achane, this seems pretty late. So looks like based on his ADP dropping due to the injury situation, the soft tissue in his calf, he's going a little bit later. I probably, if I knew he's 100% healthy, I would go Achane over Josh Jacobs. But we just don't know what's going to happen here. Then Brock Bowers goes. I'm actually surprised Chase Brown fell all the way to the 3rd, even though it's bots, but still. So Brock Bowers goes first tight end off the board. So Jahmyr Gibbs, Brock Bowers. I mean, we know Brock Bowers, what he's capable of, and what he did last year was just phenomenal. I think he'll get similar volume with Geno. He'll be just fine with Geno. Bucky Irving goes. So he's got Bijan and Bucky. Bucky Irving is in a spot to succeed with Tampa Bay. We saw with what he did, obviously taking over as the lead back, and what he's going to do. He's good in all aspects of the game. He's going to get a ton of work, I mean, this is just awesome. If you can get Bucky Irving here late in the second, I think it's awesome. This is typically where he's going, but if you got Bijan and Bucky as your two backs, I mean, great. Lamar's second QB to go. I mean, we know when it comes to the QBs, Josh Allen, Lamar, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, you really can never go wrong at the end of the day. This is where these QBs are going to go. You're going to see Josh Allen, Lamar, and then Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts like I did over here. Tyreek Hill, from what I'm seeing, Tyreek Hill is going much later than this in real drafts. I mean, as long as he's healthy, I think Tyreek Hill is a real value pick. Not to say that he could have got him later if it was a real draft. I'm just from what I'm seeing, it seems like he is going a lot later than usual. So, I mean, if Tyreek Hill's healthy, Tua is good to go. Just expect a huge bounce back from Tyreek Hill. Then Jonathan Taylor goes. So this guy's got Jamar, Jonathan Taylor. That's awesome. Jonathan Taylor finished out the season last year phenomenally. I think he had 500 yards in the last 3 games that he played. So that alone is pretty abnormal, I'd say. This is one of my favorite players to watch. So I'm always high on Jonathan Taylor. I think he's a value anywhere he goes. If he's going in the late second round, I mean, this is a top 5 fantasy back no matter what. Obviously, I know he had the off year a couple years back. He got hurt, and then he has a history of injuries too. So I understand that aspect of it. But if he plays the full year, especially now with Daniel Jones being named the starter, I mean, my pick in the best ball draft that I did ended up working out, because it looks like he's going to be the starter indefinitely. So until they decide that he's not going to be the starter, it's not like they said, oh, he's starting week 1. He's going to be starting every game unless they say otherwise. So I think Indy with Daniel Jones as a starter is much better for all the other players as opposed to Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is a great fantasy player to have if he plays the whole season. The problem is if you have other pieces of the offense, it's just up in the air. 1 week it's going to be Pittman, 1 week it's going to be Josh Downs, 1 week it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. Like, I think Daniel Jones is going to be able to, make sure all the players eat. I know when he was in New York, there was a lot of times that he was obviously vulturing the rushing touchdowns when they're at the goal line, but I don't know. I see him helping out this offense a lot personally. So we'll see how that goes. Then he gets Ladd. I think this is an awesome pick. Ladd McConkey is going to have just what you think. I mean, I think he's going to have an awesome year. Even with the signing of Keenan Allen, Ladd's going to be their guy. Keenan Allen is going to be, he's going to get work as well. But I think Ladd is just a phenomenal player. You saw what he did last year. A lot of the rookie receivers from last year did, crazy numbers. So it was an awesome year for receiver. That's funny. Just the only one that didn't was the highest projected receiver, the one that was, they had the highest hopes for, which was Marvin Harrison. But I think they'll be fine. I think Trey Harris, before the Keenan Allen signing, was probably someone to keep an eye on. But I say, unless you're getting Ladd, and then you're getting Keenan Allen late in your draft, there's no one really to pay attention to from the Chargers receiving room, obviously. Even the tight end situation. I mean, Tyler Conklin, I think, is going to be their starting tight end. So Ladd is a great pick there. Trey McBride goes third pick in the 3rd round. That's awesome value, I think, for Trey McBride. With the amount of targets and the amount of catches he's going to get, I don't see that changing. Even if they do end up targeting Marvin Harrison more, Trey McBride's still going to get a boatload of the work, I think. So this would be a great pick here at 3. Kyren, I mean, once again, I think Kyron will be a good player to have no matter what. They just signed him to an extension, so he's going to be their guy. You're not going to have to worry about Blake Corum taking over. If Kyron's healthy, Kyron is going to be getting all the work. So T. Higgins, apparently he wobbled off the field in practice yesterday. So we know his history with injuries. This is why I said I think T. Higgins is being drafted high and he is a little overvalued. Not in the sense of the way he plays or what he's able to do when he's on the field. The thing is the uncertainty of the injuries. So I still wouldn't take him here if it came to me. I would rather have Chase Brown here even if I had two running backs or JSN, to be honest. So Chase Brown, we know what he's going to do. I think he's going to have a great year. I think he's valued just right. I mean, a lot of people are high on Chase Brown. I think he's going to have a great year. He's obviously in a great offense. So as long as Cincy continues to play from behind like they normally do, Cincy's players are good to have. JSN, I mean, he has a breakout year last year. I think JSN is, super talented. He's a great wide receiver. Hopefully Sam Darnold can keep up the momentum he had last year. We'll see what it's like in an offense with Seattle. I think he'll be fine. JSN will get a lot of targets. He'll get a lot of volume. James Cook, obviously he signed his extension with the Bills. He's going to be their guy. So here, if he's got the Josh Allen, James Cook stack, this is pretty solid actually, especially if James Cook gets targeted more in the passing game. So this is awesome. James Cook is going to be awesome. Garrett Wilson, if Justin Fields, he's projected to do decent. Not the best camp footage, but I mean Garrett Wilson will still perform. Hopefully we get like a legit breakout year from Garrett Wilson because we've been able to see him put up numbers without having like anyone really throwing to him. So maybe Justin Fields is the answer, but we'll see. Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin still hasn't signed. I think with Debo basically being a legit option for them, I don't foresee any issues with Jaden Daniels. I mean, maybe a little bit of regression, but probably not. Breece Hall, we still don't know the situation there with New York, with the Jets. I mean, maybe he does end up getting a little bit more work than expected. They're talking about Braylon Allen being involved a lot more, which is fine. Jalen Hurts, self-explanatory. I mean, there's nothing really you need to say about Jalen Hurts. If you get Jalen Hurts in the third, or like you're wanting to take the quarterback early, go for it. He's gonna score a lot. So it's back to me. I think here there's a lot of options. Kind of did a similar thing, in the best ball, obviously with having the same pick, but I avoided Achane here. I am personally going to go Omarion Hampton, and then I am going to once again take George Kittle. I think George Kittle is going to finish as the tight end 1 this year. I mentioned it before with the receiving room. Even if Ricky Pearsall has a breakout year, George Kittle is going to be such a heavy part of that offense. I think Brock Purdy is going to play great. So I would prefer George Kittle over these other two tight ends. And if I'm getting him in the 4th, I can't ask for much more. So Brian Thomas, Josh Jacobs, Marion Hampton, George Kittle. I would, if this was my team, I would be more than ecstatic with this team at this point. Marvin Harrison goes right after. Devontae Adams, same situation like I said with Puka. I mean, who knows? If Garoppolo ends up playing, I mean, we know the history there. I don't think it's that big of a deal as people are making it. I think they're reading into it more. I think he'll still get a lot of volume. But I would prefer Stafford there, obviously. Kamara goes. I think Kamara's still a good value, being a RB1 in the 4th round. He'll get a ton of targets in the passing game. So checkdowns will be easy for whoever they decide to start, whether it's Spencer Rattler, whoever they go with. Terry McLaurin hasn't signed. This is really scaring me. I'm not sure what they're going to end up doing with Terry. My prediction was that he was going to sign, but we truly don't know. I say if he hasn't signed by the time you're drafting, not to avoid him, because anywhere he goes, he's going to be he's going to be an asset to their offense. But Debo would be a very, very high value pick if he still hasn't signed, because they'll still take Terry, or in this range. So Chuba goes. We know the situation with there. So he's going to be their guy. Joe Burrow goes. We know the situation there. Mike Evans, self-explanatory. James Conner. Him and Trey Benson are going to split a little bit more, I think, but not to say that James Conner is going to be in a situation that he doesn't get volume or get targeted in the passing game even. Especially if you have Bijan and Bucky already. This is not a bad addition. DK goes. DK is a huge value. Though what I think DK is very, very undervalued in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers is going to target him like crazy. We know Aaron Rodgers has tunnel vision when it comes to his players. He loves targeting one guy that he can trust if he can. Not to say he doesn't spread the ball, but if he can trust a player on the field, he is going to be throwing the ball their way every time. And him and DK have been getting along in camp, obviously, and they've been, working on their chemistry. And I think DK is severely undervalued. So I think DK is going to have an awesome year. Devonta Smith goes. Devonta Smith, he'll perform. When you're talking about the Philly offense, there's really basically the same. I don't see any regression, really. I think it'll be similar situations. If anything, I think A.J. Brown will end up getting targeted more this year. So DJ Moore goes, solidified number 1 still in Chicago. I don't see anything like that changing. Luther Burden looked great in preseason. And Rome Odunze just, he had a solid game as well. I scored yesterday. Kenneth Walker goes. Kenneth Walker's healthy. I think this is a great pick. Starts 5th round. Xavier Worthy, I think he's going to be awesome. Even with Rashee Rice playing the first few games, we don't know what's going to happen with his hearing. I think Xavier Worthy is an awesome pick. At the end of the day, it's Mahomes. I think Mahomes is going to turn it up this year, and I think he's going to have a much better fantasy year than people are expecting. Sam Laporta goes. Self-explanatory there. He had not too good of a sophomore year, but at the end of the day, he's gonna be a tight end one. He's gonna get a lot of looks. He's gonna get targeted. He'll end up scoring more touchdowns this year. I'm almost positive. I think it'll be a bounce back year compared to the year he had last year. Rashee Rice goes. If Rashee Rice was to play the whole season, I would want Rashee Rice almost as bad as any other receiver. I think him and Mahomes could perform super well together if they're able to ever play a full season together. But we'll see what happens, I guess, with his hearing. RJ Harvey goes. Once again, I mentioned this. RJ Harvey is consistently being drafted ahead of J.K. Dobbins, but J.K. Dobbins is listed as the number 1. Not to say RJ Harvey isn't going to take over or that he won't get more work, but I foresee J.K. Dobbins getting a lot of goal line work and scoring a lot of touchdowns. So Sutton goes. He's just awesome. Cortland Sutton is super consistent. Bo Nix is going to play out of his mind. I'm super high on Bo Nix. David Montgomery goes. His situation, I'm not too sure. I think Gibbs is just going to get a much more volume. But you never really know with Dan Campbell's offense. He could change his mind every game if he wants. Then Mahomes goes. Like I said, Mahomes I think is going to have a much better fantasy year than anticipated. Zay Flowers, if you get a piece of the Baltimore offense, it's fine. I'm not really the biggest Zay Flowers fan. Not to say he's not a great player or a good player, but it's just hard being a part of the Ravens offense if you're not getting Lamar or Derrick Henry. There will be games that he goes off, and there will be games that you won't see as much volume, but you never know. It could be a year where he just goes off every game, but I highly doubt it. Travion Henderson, awesome pick. I'm really high on Travion Henderson. I think that the way he plays is going to be so great for New England's offense. He's going to work well with Drake May. They're not going to be forced to throw as much. Ramondre should not start for their team, even though that it seems like that might be the case unless Ramondre is hurt. But Travion Henderson will end up taking that number 1 role. There's no doubt in that. Cedric McMillan, awesome. I think he's an awesome player. I know that I think he was dealing with his hamstring, so he wasn't at practice. But I mean, I think he'll be fine. I personally think with the news of Adam Thielen um, possibly going back to Minnesota just opens up more for him. I don't think they need Adam Thielen personally. I mean, they got Tyrone McMillan, they got Leggett, they got Renfro. Um, so I don't know. I think especially if he leaves, I think Bryce Young and Tyrone McMillan are gonna be just fine together. So back to me. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, this is what I was expecting personally. With what is available, I'm really high on George Pickens this year, as is everyone else, I'm sure. They see how happy he is to be a part of Dallas's offense. They are the highest passing offense in the league, so I will take George Pickens here, and then I actually will take Pacheco, even though I'm not the biggest Pacheco fan, but with him starting, if he's back and he's healthy, I think that he will be a big part of the offense too. So I'm not mad about that. Jameson Williams goes after, then Kelsey, Joe Mixon, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. Once again, I mentioned this in the previous video. I would rather have Jordan Mason over Aaron Jones. I think Jordan Mason is going to end up taking over that number one spot. Not to say that Aaron Jones isn't going to play well when he does start or if he gets similar work. I just think at some point it's going to be Jordan Mason's backfield, personally. Jalen Waddle goes, this is great value here. Jalen Waddle is just going to, if Tua's healthy, Jalen Waddle is going to have a good year. I had him last year. Unfortunately, Tua wasn't playing the same once he had dealt with his injury. So it just didn't have the similar years he normally has with him. Calvin Ridley goes. I think Calvin Ridley is gonna be fine as well. With Cam Ward, I think they'll play well together. Baker goes. Travis Hunter, Jacoby Myers, DeAndre Swift. I think DeAndre Swift is really undervalued too. He finished as the RB19 last year. I'm pretty sure he's being drafted as what? He went as the RB26 here. I think that's pretty good value because I think that he could actually end up finishing probably in the top 15. He played all 17 games. He started all 17 games last year. So with a new offense, with Ben Johnson there, he looked good yesterday when they played. I think this is a great value here. Jerry Jeudy, kind of a scary situation. Not to say that he's not going to play well, because with Joe Flacco being named the starter, I think he'll be fine. Joe Flacco is going to spread the ball awesome. He's going to get all his guys involved. That's why I think Njoku is going to be fantastic, at least at first, if Flacco continues to start. But I think Cedric Tillman is probably the guy that you're going to want to look out for. And with Deontay Johnson in the mix, you just never know. So, Bo Nix, awesome. I don't really need to say much on Bo Nix. I think he's going to have a great year. Caleb Johnson goes. Still, I would prefer Jalen Warren at this point. Caleb Johnson hasn't looked that well or that good. So, but you never know. Mark Andrews, Chris Olave, Deebo Samuel. This is a good value here. Terry McLaurin doesn't sign. Deebo Samuel is going to be a great piece of the Washington offense. He looks like himself again from what we saw in the last preseason game. Looks like he's in shape. So this is going to be great. Even if Terry does end up signing with them and plays, Terry hasn't practiced with the team once. So, Deebo Samuel is a huge value pick. David Njoku, I don't need to say anything. I'm a big David Njoku guy. With Joe Flacco, take him. If you haven't gotten a tight end yet, especially if you're here in the 7th round, or it's even later and you need a tight end, if you haven't taken David Njoku, take him. Tony Pollard goes. We know Tyler Spears is still hurt, I believe. So this is fine. Quinshon Judkins, he hasn't signed yet. I'm pretty sure he's going to be signing soon. Was really high on Judkins prior to the year. I thought that he was going to be, right behind Gene T as far as being drafted or much earlier. But obviously with what went down, his ADP has just dropped significantly. We don't know what his role with the team is going to look like to start the year. So Stephon Diggs, I know he's still dealing, I think, he hasn't practiced. And he hasn't played in the preseason, but I think they're just saving him. I think Stephon Diggs is going to play when he's on the field with Drake May. He's going to be, he's going to be a piece of the offense that you're going to want to have from them. So I'm not worried about Stephon Diggs. I think he'll play. Cooper Kupp goes. I mean, we know the situation there. Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp, JSN. Cooper Kupp is the number 2. Not knocking anyone who takes him. This bot has 6 receivers and 1 quarterback, and that is it. I don't know what the rest of their team's gonna look like, but so with where I'm at now, I mean, I've got a piece of a little bit of everything. I'm pretty balanced. If it came to me and this was the situation, really can go anywhere with it. With who's available here. See, this might be where I take Brian Robinson. I will look at what receivers are available here. Yeah, I think this is what I'm going to do is I'll take Matthew Golden, and then I'm going to take Brian Robinson. So on the Brian Robinson situation, I don't think that he's going to eat into CMC's work, which I mean, maybe we don't know if he will or not, or how they're going to split carries. But maybe there's just something they're not telling us with CMC. I'm not entirely sure. Brian Robinson will get goal line work. He'll get third down. He's not going to be a bad option to have, especially if you're getting him this late. He's just not. I don't think he's going to take over CMC's role. That's not going to happen at all. I just think if you're passing up on CMC, which you probably won't do, or if you get both, you're in a good spot. I just think that, he's gonna get work either way. He's gonna be a part of the offense. So Evan Ingram goes. Jordan Addison, he's gonna be suspended 3 games. Rome Odunze, I think Rome Odunze is gonna be just fine. Tyrone Tracy, we don't know the situation yet. I think he's still gonna start over Scadaboo, obviously. Khalil Shakir, I'm just not high on Buffalo's receivers. I probably would have waited to take him. I mean, and if he would have gotten taken, I wouldn't have cared. Tyler Warren, this is an awesome pick. I think Daniel Jones and Tyler Warren are going to do awesome things together. I think Tyler Warren is going to be a great prospect to watch. Travis Etienne, this is a good value pick because I think he is going to still start. So Chris Godwin was activated off the PUP list. But it's just a scary situation. I don't know. I would rather have Egbuka, personally. If I can't get Mike Evans, I'd rather have Egbuka. So Pearsall goes, then Egbuka. I think Pearsall, he's gonna be their guy to start. I don't know if Juwan Jennings is gonna start the season or not. More than likely not, from the sounds of it. But I mean, you never know. Egbuka goes, and then Jared Goff. I'm not too sure how Jared Goff is going to pan out this year. I don't know what Detroit's offense is going to be like personally. They all have similar pieces from last year. It's the same offense basically. It's Dan Campbell. I don't know if he's going to try and run the offense the same way as Ben Johnson did. But I mean, you never know. They could try the same stuff. Colson Loveland, this is good value. I think the only thing is I think Colson Loveland and Cole Kmet are going to be playing a lot of 2 tight end sets, and I think they're going to both be getting a decent amount of on-field playing time. But this is a good value here. Jaylen Warren, so Jaylen Warren, and this is a mock at the end of the day, so it's all bots besides myself. Jaylen Warren 2 rounds behind Caleb Johnson I think is wild to me because Jaylen Warren is going to start. And Caleb Johnson didn't look good. So I'd rather have Jaylen Warren all day over Caleb Johnson personally at this point. And maybe I'll eat my words in the season. Who knows? But Cam Scatterbo goes. Don't really know what's going to happen there. Like I said, I mean, him and Tyrone Tracy, Kyler Murray. I mean, yeah, you're going to start seeing these quarterbacks go in this range now after Jared Goff. Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert is going to have a much better year than last year. So we'll see how he ends up playing. But Jordan Mason. So once again, Jordan Mason was drafted 3 rounds here after Aaron Jones. If this was real, this is the steal of the draft. If this was real. Because I would be taking Jordan Mason over Aaron Jones. I think Jordan Mason is going to end up taking over that spot. So then Juwan Jennings goes. Jaden Reed. I talked about this in the best ball video. Matthew Golden and Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed is still listed as their number 1, but Jaden Reed is still dealing with. He's not wearing the boot anymore, but he's not practicing yet. I think he's gonna probably end up playing week 1, or if he does miss week 1, that'll probably be the only week, at least to start the season. Hopefully he's there to play though. He's a guy I like watching. So if this, because of the situation with the boot, if you're getting him this far after Golden, this is great value. This is a huge steal too. As long as he gets on the field, that's what we want. So Dalton Kincaid. I mean, with him, you really can't go anywhere else but up based on the last season. So, I mean, if he has a worse season than last year, I mean, I don't know what I won't draft him anymore. Brock Purdy, this is good value. Brock Purdy, I think, is going to have a fantastic year. Like I said before, their schedule is pretty easy, so I think he's going to have an awesome year with Kittle, with CMC fully healthy, hopefully. Now with the addition of Brian Robinson. I think Pearsall will get a lot of work. And then I know Demarcus Robinson is suspended, I think, for the first 3 games. But when he comes back, especially if Juwan Jennings is missing time, Demarcus Robinson will be someone to watch on the waivers if he's not drafted. I don't know how deep, obviously, your league will go, but Demarcus Robinson is going to be someone to watch on your waivers once he comes back. I know he'll be just fine. Javonte Williams goes, looks like he's getting praise from the team. Yeah, like it says here, I mean, he's seeing the most reps with the starters, so he is going to be the starter. There's no doubting that. I wouldn't mind having him this late, so this is a fine pick. I know there are people that are not too big of fans of Javonte. I think with the right offense, he'll be fine. Jaden Blue, I think, was hurt or dealing with injury, and with Miles Sanders, we don't know what's going to happen between him and Javonte, but I don't foresee really Miles Sanders taking over. So here, I'm more likely going to end up taking J.K. Dobbins at some point here. I don't have a quarterback, but J.K. and Josh Downs would be nice. Or I could take one and then go Dak. So, because Dak won't make it back to me more than likely if I was to pass up on him now. So, with my team now, I've already got 2 running backs as my starters, and then I have 4 running backs, and I have 3 receivers. So you don't have to do it like this. I mean, if you like balancing out your team, great, but I probably will just go Josh Downs, and then I will take Dak, especially with full PPR. I'll take Josh Downs there. I'm really high on Josh Downs, so with Daniel Jones being the starter, like I mentioned, I do like him there. But him and Michael Pittman will both see a lot of volume. I'm almost positive in that. So, yeah, then I went Dak. J.K. Dobbins goes right after. This is a great value here. J.K. Dobbins is going to start for Denver. I don't know, with being, like I said before, in Sean Payton's office, how much all the running backs are going to see the field, but he likes to use multiple backs. But J.K. Dobbins, I think he'll be fine. Jonnu Smith goes, Tucker Kraft. I would have preferred Tucker Kraft over Jonnu. But with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, you never really know. I am pretty high on Tucker Kraft this year as well. Zach Charbonnet goes. This is solid, especially if something happens to Kenneth Walker, or even if not, if they just end up utilizing him more, this is a very, very good value pick. CJ Stroud goes. Ramondre Stevenson, I mean, I know he was hurt. Yeah, it says it was undisclosed, but that's what I'm saying. Travion Henderson, I mean, before Travion Henderson, I think was still going ahead of him in a lot of drafts, but I mean, he wasn't going this late, so Travion is where you want to be. Kyle Pitts, this is good value. I think Kyle Pitts will be fine with Michael Penix. Keon Coleman, not the biggest fan. Michael Pittman, this is good value here. I honestly could have gone Michael Pittman even if I wanted. I am just a little bit higher on Josh Downs than I am Pittman, but Michael Pittman is good. He's a good receiver. With Daniel Jones, I think he'll play fine. Darnell Mooney, Caleb Williams, Jaden Higgins, Nick Chubb, Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert, Jadon Blue, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Ayuk, Tank Bigsby, Drake May, Austin Eckler. This is awesome. With Brian Robinson gone, Austin Eckler, and JCM, I would want at least one of the two if I can get my hands on them. So, like, if I was this guy, I would not have taken Najee Harris here. I know it's a bot. I'm just saying. So, here, I could go anywhere once again. I mean, I'm going to go Marvin Mims. Big fan of the way he plays. So, being a WR2, I will take Marvin Mims. And then I could go Luther Burden, or just for fun, I will take JCM. And I probably could have gone with the last pick, but this is just for fun. So after JCM, Trey Benson, he's gonna split with James Conner. I don't think it'll be 50-50, especially not right away, but you will see more of Trey Benson this year for sure. Jordan Love, expect to see a huge bounce back year from Jordan Love. I know he's healthy. I know he had surgery on the non-throwing thumb, but he's going to be fine. If he's healthy, watch out for Jordan Love. Trey Harris goes, like I said, I personally am not too set on Trey Harris. I know he's dealing with, like it says here, he's dealing with some tightness. With the signing of Keenan Allen, it threw this off. I would have been wanting more of Trey Harris if there wasn't Keenan Allen, but I mean, no harm in taking him this late, I guess. Justin Fields, Luther Burden looked awesome in preseason. I wouldn't mind having him this late either. Tajay Spears, I know he sprained his ankle, so we'll see how much time he does miss. When he comes back, I mean, I still foresee Pollard being their guy, but we'll see. I guess, I don't know. It's going to depend on the recovery with Tajay Spears, I guess. JJ McCarthy, Keenan Allen, this is probably better value than Trey Harris here. Christian Kirk is good value. He was listed as basically, I think, named the WR2 for Houston, so this is good value. Christian Kirk, is a decent receiver, solid, especially in PPR. So Zach Ertz, Rashad Bateman, Rashad White, Cam Ward, Braylon Allen, Isaac Guerrero. I personally don't even think he should be drafted at this point. I mean, if it's your last pick, sure. But with Brian Robinson there, they have no need for him unless something happens to CMC. So Adam Thielen, same situation. He's gonna. I'm pretty sure he'll probably end up. They might move him back to Minnesota. He might get traded, but you never know. Isaiah Likely, Hunter Henry. I would have rather had Hunter Henry. Unless Isaiah Likely is fine. But yeah, could be ready for week 1. Hunter Henry. And typically, my league has an additional 2 bench spots, so Ray Davis is solid. But with them getting the extension done with James Cook, we know James Cook is going to see majority of the work unless something happens to him. Tua looked good. in preseason. So I still think Tank Bigsby is better. I think Tank Bigsby should get more work than Travis Etienne, but I don't know. Trevor Lawrence goes, and then it's on me. So to round it out, you really can't go anywhere you want here. So typically I do like to have at least 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, just to solidify at least solid ends in both. But with who's available, yeah, really high on Brenton Strange this year. So I'll wrap it out with Brenton Strange. So we'll review the team. Yeah, Dak is my QB1, Josh Jacobs, O'Marion Hampton, Brian Thomas Jr., George Pickens, George Kittle, Isaiah Pacheco is my flex 1, Matthew Golden, Brian Robinson, Josh Downs, Marvin Mims, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, and Brenton Strange. I personally think this is a solid team. If I ended up with this team in my real league, I would be really happy with it. Could just be outside looking in and maybe being a little biased, but I personally think this is a solid team. So I would be happy with this. I mean, you guys let me know what you think of the team and how I drafted, what your thoughts are on some of my takes. Feel free to let me know. But other than that, guys, just a quick one today. Comment, like, subscribe. And yeah, we'll be doing more of this. Hopefully I can get back into my underdog account and we'll do some more best ball stuff. Otherwise I'll just hop on best ball and on DraftKings. So but yeah, other than that, guys, appreciate your time today. And yeah, we'll see you.